Thanks for coming back to Law&Crime, everybody. The jury is taking a brief recess out in Broward County, Florida, for the trial of rapper YNW Melly. As you know, 24-year-old Jamell Demons faces the death penalty for the 2018 shooting deaths of his two friends. With us once again to bring us a quick update is Law&Crime's Terri Austin, our boots on the ground, who's been in that courtroom. Terri, I have so many questions I want to ask you. I first want to start with that surveillance footage. So for a considerable period of time, we were all seeing, the jury was seeing this surveillance footage. There was no audio. What was that about?
Well, there was a witness who was taken out of turn. She was from the Department of Transportation, and she basically laid the foundation for that video, and it came in. But then she was dismissed off of the stand, and they just played the video with no one on the stand and with no explanation. Jesse, it's the first time I've ever seen that done before. The prosecution basically just answered the judge's question, and the judge said, "What's going on here?" And she said, "I'm going to play the video." They played the video. The jury watched, but no sound, no explanation, and no witness. It was just cars going up and down the highway, but we have no idea what those cars were. So frankly, I think it was 15, 20 minutes of sort of not much happening.
What was the jury doing?
They were looking at it. They were sort of leaning over. I did see a couple of them sort of saying something to the other. I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe, why are we watching this? I can tell you that the audience was talking and wondering what we were looking at and why we were looking at it with no explanation. But we all just sat there and waited for it to conclude. There were a couple of times the prosecution went up to put on a second video to show what was going on in the video, just to mark it for the evidence, to say this is from point 1 to point 2, but that was it. No other explanation about those videos. So it's in evidence. It's been published. The jury has it. They can take it back if they want, because now it's in evidence, but no explanation thus far. Now,
talking about a car, my understanding is the jury is going to go on this, it's not like quite a site visit, right? They're not going to another location. They're going to check out this car, which is in the forensics garage of the courthouse. Walk us through that, what we can expect.
That's exactly right. It is in the forensics garage. We have requested to go down and view the car and the scene as well. I think the jury is going to have the opportunity to look at those chairs. Yesterday, we saw the chairs in the courtroom, and they were just courtroom chairs where we were trying to depict where the 4 individuals were seated in that car, driver, passenger, and the back driver, passenger. Now they're going to get an opportunity to see how large are those seats, who could have sat there, whether or not it was possible for someone in that back driver's seat to hold a gun and shoot someone next to him and shoot someone in front of him. So I think logistically it's going to help the jury make a determination as to whether or not that's possible. I think they're also going to wonder, outside of the car, is it possible to lean in and lean over and take those same shots? So very important information for that jury to see that car.
But they have to be careful, right? They can't make their own kind of demonstration or recap of what happened. That's usually not permitted.
That's my understanding as well, Jesse. They'll just go down, they'll look at it. The judge will probably, as judges normally do, instruct them not to have any conversation, walk around, take a look for themselves, see for themselves just how much room is in that car. It's right downstairs, as you said, in the building, in the garage, on the first floor.
Right.
Hopefully we'll get an opportunity to go down as well.
Now, let me ask you this. We were just seeing this back and forth between the attorneys and the judge outside the presence of the jury. It was regarding, I think, evidence that prosecutors want to submit to show that this was Demons' phone. What was that about?
That's exactly right, Jesse. There's a Snapchat video, several Snapchat videos, where the prosecution wants to determine who owned that phone. Defense was saying, look, there are lots of people in that video. You can't determine it. The argument is whether or not it's relevant under 401 and whether it's prejudicial under 403. The judge in the past has admitted videos and has excluded what he thinks is prejudicial, including videos that have guns on them or videos that have money. He's determining whether or not to exclude some of these videos because there's music in the background, and he looks as though he's leaning towards excluding including those videos, but including others. So we're waiting to see his decision on that issue. He probably will make that decision when he comes back to the bench.
Yeah, I think he seemed to indicate that this is something you can argue to the jury that it's not Mr. Demons' phone. I mean, overall, how important is that for the prosecution to establish that that phone belonged to Demons?
Well, they want to show that it is his phone, and it was Demons who was holding the phone when the crime happened. In terms of that location, you remember we had the witness who testified about the cell towers and the triangulation of the phones, and I do believe they want to make sure they say that it is his phone. What the defense is arguing is, look, it doesn't matter if that phone is registered in his name. Other people were using that phone. You cannot demonstrate definitively to this jury that the phone was in his hand at the time of the crime.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really important point as we try to make sense of what the overall impact of that is going to be on the prosecution's case. Terri, we just got word that the judge is back on the bench. I'm going to sign you off. Thank you so much. Let's see if we can dip in, if we can, and see what's happening. Let me correct that. He's not back on the bench. He's wandering around the bench. So let's take a break. When we come back, hopefully he's seated and we can see what happens next in the trial. Stay with us.